Welcome to another episode of Closet Factory's Operation Reorganization.
We've got a packed show today as we're going to see how Barbara took on a beachfront home that includes a primary bedroom, wardrobes, and closets.
And if that isn't enough, we're going to travel over to Chesapeake to see how Brittini designed an amazing sewing room to fit her clients' needs.
All that and more on...
Oh, whoa, that's my line.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
All that and more on this episode of Closet Factory's Operation Reorganization.
I'm Barbara Merritt, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself. I'm from Virginia Beach, born and raised. My husband and I, we own an accounting firm in Virginia Beach, Stephen Merritt CPA, known as the greatest accounting firm in all of America. Our mascot is Lewis. You need to check out our website. We actually have a wonderful video of him. My husband and I are partners in life and at home and everything else, and it's been fantastic, and it's been a journey with putting our house together. We are in Ocean Park. It's actually where I used to go in high school, where we would go and lay out and play, and it is the exact spot, actually, where we went. When he took me to the house, I'm like, I've been here before. Walked up the stairs, came around the corner, looked outside, saw the water, I said, sold. I promised my husband, we've been in 11 different homes, and in each of those homes, I have gutted them and redone them, and I promised him on this one I would wait at least a year. I exceeded my promise. I waited 2 years. And in doing so, I'm glad we did. We knocked out walls, we made more space. It's a 2-unit condo, so space is at a premium. We have 3 children. It's 4-bedroom, 3-bath. And it's just one big common living area, and then downstairs is like a mother-in-law type suite. So we really wanted to maximize the space. So when we bought this house, it had walls that blocked off the kitchen. The dining area was very small. It was shut off in the corner. On our stairwells, again, with the kids running up and down, we put the kick plates that are actually tile, and that got rid of those type of things. And over time, the house accumulated things. And one of the things was my closet. However, I was forced to organize. Earlier this year, we thought we had a plumbing leak. Well, in my closet is where the access is to the bathroom panel. Well, that was blocked with a huge mound of shoes. So it took about a month for them to figure it out. Turned out it wasn't a plumbing issue, it was a caulking issue, so that was a good thing. But the closet was still an issue. It was a typical 1980s style closet. It had one long rod that went around the perimeter of the closet. There was a shelf that was way up high. We're short, we couldn't even reach it, we didn't use it. So hence that's why all my shoes wound up on the floor. At one point, my clothes were so heavy, the rod started to lean sideways, so then I just started chucking some of those things on the floor. So there were clothes and shoes on the floor. So I called around, and Closet Factory kept popping up over and over and over. So I called, and I got to speak with Barbara.
Hi, it's Barbara McCandless again, Senior Designer with Closet Factory, and I'm excited to be with you again to share another customer story with you. You know, when our customers call Closet Factory, one of the first projects that comes to mind is the master bedroom closet or primary bedroom closet, and such was the case with Barbara and Steve. I came out to their home out here on the Chesapeake Bay, beautiful beachfront property, and we took a look at her master closet. Barbara is just a superb designer in her own right, and had just added some just beautiful touches to the house to really make it their own.
She came in, she had her computer, she was able to do some measurements. She asked me a lot of questions that I thought were weird at first, like how many dresses do I have? How many pair of shoes do I have? What kind of things do I wear? I was kind of like, this is kind of weird, but I answered the questions. And after I answered them and she started working on her computer and doing things, it all made sense. In order to Tetris my closet where it was utilizable, she needed to know what we used it for. After I realized what she was doing, so I was like, well, there's, like 150 pairs of shoes. So I had to finally admit how many things there were because, again, the spare bedroom had just everything heaped into it. In doing so, she got me to pare down my shoes. I have about 100 pairs in the closet, and they're nicely neat on the shelves, and I can get to them, and there's nothing on the floor. I did have to get rid of some shoes, but it wasn't traumatic. It was good. It was all very good. Clothing was the same thing. So it was all a very good process.
As part of my process with a new client and a new project, I will ask how the space is going to be used. And so how many dresses, how many shirts and skirts and so on. And for women, how many pairs of shoes do we want storage for? And in my experience, the average woman has between 30 and 50 pairs of shoes. Now, Barbara, I will say, is above average in that regard. But I never feel like it's my job to tell someone that they need to get rid of anything. That's not my job. On the other hand, I'm not a magician. I can't make the space bigger. So we kind of talk back and forth about, now how many shoes do we absolutely need storage for in the closet? And then the second part is the look of the closet, what my colleague Denise calls the art of it, the art of the closet. She wanted something that was more personal to her and that was more in keeping with the decor that she had elsewhere in the house. And she had a lot of grays and aquas in the house. And so I pulled out my sample box and we looked through the different grays, and then we settled on, we were kind of torn between our Silver Frost and our Storm. These are two of our gray colors. And then Barbara herself had the idea, what if we do both of them? And so in the closet, we did the panels, the vertical structure of the closet, and our lighter gray, the Silver Frost, and then the shelves are in Storm. And so it's just a beautiful combination and unique to her house. It's not like just any closet. It looks very special.
Once she realized that I was serious about my shoes, we actually came up with to do a little cabinet actually outside of the closet area that pretty much just has shoes in there. And that works out perfectly. And my husband has a small section of the closet. His is nice and neat, and he also has a shoe area. Mind you, he has open spaces for shoes and clothing where I don't, but it has made everything neat and usable, and it's very lovely. The cabinet also is unique in that I wanted it to blend. I didn't want it to stick out in the room. So Barbara was able to do low profile handles. The finish and everything on it, it just kind of blends. It doesn't really take center stage in the bedroom, which I didn't want it to do. It's a nice little fold because we leave the door open to the closet because it looks nice now. And you can actually open the door. But you can see it, and it's a nice little segue with the cabinet there. It's very smooth, and it looks like it belongs there. But it also is seamless. It's not the first thing that catches your eye when you walk in there, which is nice.
One of the great things about our process is that I do use a CAD program to design the closet, and so the client can see it, both the plan view and elevations, but also a 3D rendering. And I can move around the closet, and she can see exactly what it's going to look like. I'm actually able to add clothes to the rods in the closet so she could see that as well. I think that was very useful in the process. This is a top view of the closet, and as you can see, it's very long and narrow. And so with a closet like this, I like to do hanging clothes wall to wall across the back wall because it just brings it forward visually, it kind of squares up the closet a little bit. The closet is not wide enough to have hanging clothes on both sides, unfortunately. So here is just this little double hanging section on the left. That's for Steve, and the rest of this space is for Barbara. So she has room, I would say, probably for about 60, 70 pairs of shoes, and then Steve has his area here as well. So then here is our shoe cabinet, and this was just outside the closet door. So looking at the elevation, this door on the right is the door to the closet, and the other door goes elsewhere. And here it is. So this is very simple. But back to the elevation, you can see I'd spaced this for shoes. So we had room here for another 50 pairs of shoes or so. And she's using some of that space for bathroom toiletries and things of that nature.
Our dog, Lewis, he used to, when we would take him down the beach, this is no lie, he would walk along, he's an English bulldog, and he would find the cutest, youngest girl on the beach. He would find her and sit on the blanket, and we could not get him off of the blanket. He would have to have that person love on him, pet him, everything. This was a nightly routine for years. So people would see Lewis coming, and they're like, "Oh, Lou, come over here," and he would just park it, and he'd look at us like, "Well, I'm done for my walk. I found my pretty girl, I'm done." On install day, we actually had been invited with the neighbors to go out later in the evening, which probably around 4 or 5 o'clock. And we had Closet Factory coming in at 9. So I was a little bit nervous that we were even going to be able to make it in time. Our installer showed up right on time, professional, clean, came inside, unloaded everything, did what he needed to do. And he said, I asked several times, "Do you need anything?" Kept checking on him. No, it was just like clockwork. He kept going and going and going. He was done in 3 hours. The closet also has been a time saver. So originally I had all the shoes piled on the floor, and at that time, probably there was close to 200 pairs of shoes. As you know, with piles, things move. So one of the mates of the shoes would be separated, so I'm constantly trying to find that mate. So in the morning, I'm taking extra time to do that. Mind you, the closet is very, very small. Literally, you could just walk in there and just do a 360 circle and that's it. There was no other space for either of us. So you were reaching across to get your clothes, you were reaching across to get your shoes, and my poor husband, his corner was actually, as soon as you walked in the corner, in the closet, immediately to the right, and he probably had 4 inches of space. That's it. There was nothing. So this way, with Closet Factory, they maximized that tiny, tiny space to the hilt that you get more in there than I ever thought you could get in there, quite honestly. So it's been fantastic. One of my husband's favorite features is off to the side, there's a little slide rack that he has his belts on, which before those were all over the place. And now we have our clothes sectioned off in different areas. I have my coats in one area, I have my blouses in one area, I have my dresses. It's so much more organized, and it's just able to get in, and the ease of getting ready in the morning too is a lot easier. So it's been magical.
You know, as many years as I've done this job, it's still a thrill for me to see something that I've designed actually built. And when I look at Barbara and Steve's closet and the colors she chose, and to see how she's organized her closet, it just makes me so happy.
Barbara was fantastic. It's gotten me to clean up, to get less clutter. It is addictive. Now if I buy something, I make sure I take something out so I have space in the closet. In doing so though, now I look at the other closets in the other bedroom, and you open those and stuff falls out of them because I've used them for storage and everything else. So again, at the beach, space is a premium. So we will definitely be calling Closet Factory again. I also think the highest compliment I could give Barbara is I have referred her to many friends. One in particular right behind us actually has utilized her services, and they were very, very happy. It's the best form of praise that I can give to anybody is to recommend them to someone else.
What an incredible amount of work put into that gorgeous beachfront property in Virginia Beach. But wait, there's more. We've saved some time to go check out what Brittini stitched together over in Chesapeake.
My name is Joan Owen. I'm originally from Wilmington, Delaware. I moved here because my husband is from here, and his name is Jim Owen, and we're retired, and we have lived here for 11 years. I'm always changing houses around, and this one I can't tear down the walls because it's a condo, obviously, and it has an elevator, and I have some health issues, so the elevator comes in handy, and I use it as a closet sometimes too. Throw the stash in there. My elevator could use some organization to it because I do throw a lot of things in there, so I should call Closet Factory for it as well. The space that I use upstairs that I wanted Closet Factory to help me with is my sewing room. It was originally a loft, and it's a big space for me to spread out and use as a sewing room. I was using antique dressers and cabinets, and I was losing things in the drawers, and it just wasn't working for me. So I saw an ad for Closet Factory and started thinking about shelving. And maybe if I had individual shelves for individual things, and I knew what was in each box or basket, as it sat on the shelf, I could get to it easier, and I wouldn't be losing it and rebuying things. And so I called them. We went out to Closet Factory and met with Brittini and told her what I wanted. She came out and we came up with a plan, and she really did come up with a great idea.
It's me, Brittini. I'm back in the designer's chair, out of the host position. I'm here at the Owens home where we did an install in Joan's sewing room. It was a really cool space. It had tons and tons of walls that we had to work with. I don't think I've ever been a designer for a space that was so wally. There were like 15 different walls in there. It took a really long time to measure and lay out on my computer, but once we did it, it really fell into place and really came together nicely and has become a very functional space for Joan.
The best thing was to go out to Closet Factory and see what they have to offer. Oh, I wanted to do everything to my house with Closet Factory. They have some really, really cool things, from master closets to just, like I said, my elevator. They could do that. I really would like to maybe every year do another piece of the house.
So here's the top view of Joan's sewing room. So you can see all of these walls and doors that we had to work around. Right here is where we overhung the door jamb just a little bit, but that's exactly what Joan wanted, so that's what we did. She did an accent top here on this little half wall. This is where she had a big dresser that she replaced with our shelving section, and she did the top in silver frost. So it's a nice pretty accent color, has a little bit of sheen to it. And then she did beadboard backing, and every single one of these sections has beadboard backing, which ties in with the rest of her decor really nicely. Here's the 3D rendering. You can see kind of a bird's eye view. This one we did a bit deeper just to fill that little nook perfectly. We lined it up with the wall there. There are her suspended sections for her threads that we had to move down.
When they came out to install, I really expected a big mess. You know, saws and hammers and nails all over the place, and it was not that at all. One guy, he came out, he's just started putting things together, and so he just knew right where everything had to go. He had to make a few adjustments for outlets and things like that. It just went so fast. I couldn't believe it, and clean, easy to do, and that night I was putting things on the shelves. This installation has made my life so much easier. First, I have a little bit more room because dressers take up a lot of space, antique dressers in particular, and when you have to go looking and rooting for things, it takes up your time. All I have to do is look across the room and know what is in that stack of shelves and go right to it. I have plenty of room for my cutting table. I have plenty of room for my ironing board, which is a long board. I do a lot of work on my ironing board, so I have room for that, and I can get around everything, where before I didn't have that because the dressers took up most of that space. And this just helps. I see everything, and I couldn't see everything before.
Joan has an extreme amount of sewing items. She has lots and lots of stuff that she uses, and yes, it was a very impressive collection.
The only thing that didn't work for us was I wanted a thread shelf, a very thin shelf to put threads on, but it was too high for me to reach, so I've had to adjust that. But there were other things that fit on that shelf, so it has worked very well for me.
Because we're fully custom, if there's anything that's just not quite right or accessible, our customers just give us a call and we come out and take care of it. Joan needed us to drop down that shelving unit a little bit, so we did. We came out, dropped it down, and now it's more accessible to her. And that's what really sets us apart, is the complete client care that we have. And if you went to a store and bought furniture, you're stuck with it. But with us, we make it work for you and your space. I really enjoyed working with Joan. She was a really fun client to have, and I look forward to working with her again in the future on her closet or maybe her elevator. Sounds like she needs some storage solutions in there.
We really lucked out when we got Brittini as our designer. She's just so warm and kind, and I recommend her highly. I've told several people about her, and I hope that they do use her. I look forward to working with her again, and I will.
That'll do it for another episode of...
Again?
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
That'll do it for another episode of Closet Factory's Operation Reorganization.
This was a huge episode, but really only a taste of what Closet Factory can do. Whatever your storage needs are, from bedrooms to home offices and even sewing rooms, we can weave together a unique design for you. Give us a call and we'll help you stitch together a plan.
See you next time.